Welcome, everybody. It's your boy, MarkN, MUFC fan, and you know. And why is the mic mute? Guys, can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. It's going to be one of those things. Let me know. You know what I mean? So let me know if you can hear me, guys. Don't forget to hit the like button. Shout out to Frankie Glory in the building. Of course, guys, you know, it's been an interesting day, an interesting weekend for Manchester United. Not the best performance that we could have expected on last week, Thursday. But, guys, guess what? We move. We got Wolves away. And, of course, we are looking for a performance from the boys as we need 3 points. We need to keep up with the top pack. We need to do our best. We need to show good performances, guys. And this is where it's going to get very interesting for Manchester United because, unfortunately, for most, we might be thinking a lot of things, but what we would need to do is perform. The manager could be under pressure, which is a possibility, guys. You know, it's not something to sniff at, the pressure that's on the manager currently, because guess what, guys? It's not been the best performances. You know what I mean, guys? And of course, we hope to see more performances, and it's just not working out. So let's focus on what we can do. Let's look at what are the possibilities for Manchester United in this game. Of course, there are definite interesting chances. Injuries will certainly play a part, guys, because of course, you know, it's going to have some players out missing and some players available. And those players available for the game will be players like Matheus Cunha. Of course, he's going to be leading the line, the former Wolves player. We are going to be expecting him to be our key performer in the game. And I'm not the hugest fan of Matheus Cunha, but we need him to show up very, very big and lead our line with goals against the Wolves tomorrow, guys. Because, of course, where would we be if we don't get 3 points? The league has given us a chance. And if you look at our past results, guys, our past results show that, you know, we have not performed really well. We've won 1 in the last 5. Of course, we haven't lost, but we've drawn games. So it's not the best performance right now coming from the boys. However, Wolves being the better team, they have more wins than draws in their last 5. So they would be the team in form in this game. Of course, that doesn't change the feeling that I expect Man United to win that game. Frankie saying a 3-1, I'm thinking more like a 4-1. I think that Wolves has been a team struggling for performances, struggling defensively. And of course, Man United, we are scoring goals. We are creating lots of chances. Not as clinical as we should be, but we definitely can improve in some way, shape, or form. So I expect us to bounce back against Wolves. Now, Wolves is one of those teams, you can't underestimate them, but at the same time, guys, let's be honest, they're not the best team, and we are certainly a better team than they are. We took their best player of all this summer, after all. So it's one of those things we have to look at, guys. And even if we beat Wolves, this is a critical and alarming situation, says Abdulhamid. Bro, I can't pronounce that entire name. I apologize. But even if we beat Wolves, the situation is critical and alarming. Of course, the performances aren't great. Of course, we can say we are in a rebuild. Of course, we can say the manager needs more players. Wherever you stand, I still think that, you know, we have to give it until the end of the season. I am really frustrated by the performances. I'll be honest with you guys. You know, it hasn't been the most inspiring and watch Man United in the last couple months. Of course, we've had some decent performances in the opening of this season. We are ranked in a nice position to say that if we win, we can keep within the top 6 and therefore continue winning because teams have drawn. And if we look at some of what is happening here, guys, of course, we're going to see... 1 second. Mike. All right, guys, my bad. Let's take a look at the matches because it got really interesting this weekend, guys. And I have to say, if you look at some of these matches here, it's kind of favorable for Manchester United, guys. These match week, the results with Aston Villa and a winning against Arsenal, that takes away points from the league leaders. Of course, Chelsea drawing with Bournemouth makes them drop points as well, and they were in 3rd. Now we got Nottingham Forest losing 3-0 to Everton. I mean, it does put Everton in a good position, but, you know, the only one kept pace is Man City this weekend with a 3-0 win over Sunderland, guys. So it's one of those interesting times. Newcastle got a win over Burnley. Tottenham Hotspurs got a win over Brentford, and Leeds United coming from 2 goals down to earn a well-deserved point against Liverpool, guys. And I think this puts Man United in an interesting position, but we have to take our chances. And the biggest problem is that, are we going to take our chances? Can we take those chances, guys? This is the big questions right now. And if you look at the point structure, Man United is in 12th on 22 points, tied with Tottenham Hotspurs and Newcastle, who have a better goal difference than us. Yeah, and let's be real. It's going to get interesting to see how we work that out. You know what I mean? Because goals is going to be an intrinsic situation. Of course, 4 teams are tied on 23 points. Liverpool, Sunderland, and Brighton, which means if we win tomorrow, we will leapfrog them, including 6th place Everton, who is on 24 points. And we will be possibly on 25 points, putting us tied on points with Chelsea, but in 6th position because they have a better goal difference, guys. Unless we score 5 or 6 goals tomorrow, yeah, I'm not sure, but we definitely need to do something about our performances because the table does not lie, guys. If you look at this table here, it's very, very close. We would be 1 point behind Crystal Palace, who's in 4th. 5 points off Aston Villa, who is in 3rd. 6 points off Arsenal, of Manchester City, and of course 8 points off Arsenal. It will get interesting to see how our performances go. Are these guys serious? We heard the players talking. You know, there were interviews with Amad Diallo as well as Brian and Brumo, and they were speaking on the likes of, can we get a title charge going? Is Man United good enough this season? Can we get the performances in? And guys, this is where it gets very interesting because, you know, they talk about this, but are their performances saying these things, guys? This is the question that we must ask ourselves. This is the question that we not only have to ask ourselves, but we have to ask the players. We have to ask the manager because we need to see that same drive when they speak these nice phrases at these interviews. We need to see that on the pitch. All talk and no walk is not what we know Man United players to be, guys. And yeah, it's getting frustrating. And I could understand each and every one of you and your perspectives and why you all are also frustrated. Some of you who are at the end of your patience, some of you had no patience to begin with, and some of you are still saying the manager needs time. And of course, let's talk about that, guys, because well, how is our defense going to work against Wolves' press? It's going to be a key tactical zone battle. And when we say this, guys, you know, Man United, we're gonna need to pull out all the stops tomorrow. I mean, Wolves are not good, but they run a lot, guys. So, you know, we're gonna have to defend well. We're gonna have to play the ball well and be very calm in possession. And I hope to say that when we look at that game tomorrow night, we're going to see a confident Man United. Even though we're away, we're going to be taking control of that game and taking that game to Wolves. This is what we should be expecting. And of course, I can't say we won't get that because, like I said, Wolves have not been great. They have had some decent performances, but they have not been consistent performers. Key players for Man United, I would have to say Amad Diallo. And the big question is, can he unlock the low block at Wolves? Can Mbeumo find the form he had in the first 8 games of the season where he was able to score 5 goals and get 3 assists? Can Mbeumo find that form, find that rhythm again? Because he has not been performing in the last 3 games. And of course, the players will always have a dip, but we also need to find a way to get them back into sync. And that's going to be very interesting. And even if it's not Amad Diallo, will Cunha show up as that key player, being that guy who knows Wolves better than all the others, one who was their dictator last season, now supposed to be the dictator for Manchester United in the left 10. Will be interesting to see. Or, you know what I mean, like I mentioned, Mbeumo, will he find that form? Could it be Bruno with some creation from deep and some big impacting moments? Let's see how it goes. I would certainly be looking forward to big performances from each and every one of those. Adding Casemiro to the mix, how will we dictate the tempo? And my mistake there, guys, it's not at Old Trafford, but it's at the Mainoo. You know what I mean? So how will we dictate the tempo of this game at the Mainoo and against this team? It's going to be very interesting. We've seen the performances of Casemiro, of course, in the last game. He was not great. Maybe he is having a dip in a form in the last 3 games because for the first 10, he was very good. When he came off, we were visibly poor compared to when he was on the pitch. So it's one of those things that we are going to need a very big performance from Casemiro and Bruno tomorrow night to secure that midfield, control the tempo, and take Man United to 3 points. And that's where I'm going to say, what are your thoughts, guys? Get in the comments. Let me know what you are thinking, how you are feeling. What do you think is going to be the outcome of the game tomorrow? Of course, guys, get your predictions in the chat. Leave them in the non-live section. If you are not in the live, don't forget, you can always put them in the non-live section. Your boy MarkN replies to all chats. And of course, you know, all new subscribers and old subscribers, members are always welcome here. You know what I mean? No matter where you are from, you're a Man United fan and a football fan. So don't forget to get your prediction in. Drop them in the chat. Drop them in the non-live section if you're watching this late. And what can I say? Who are you thinking is going to be our starting 11? Now, guys, I'm thinking it's going to be a Bruno Casemiro midfield. Of course, there will be some changes in defense. I expect Luke Shaw to come back into the defensive line. I expect De Ligt to regain his starting position. Of course, in my honest opinion, I think if I look at the performance from Eden Haven, I think he was very good. I don't think he really put a foot wrong other than getting the yellow card. I think there were moments that he was even, showing that she deserved the 90 minutes because he was able to maintain his composure while being on a yellow card for an entire first half. I think it would have been, a little bit more interesting if he had maintained on the pitch and maybe came out of the game after 65 minutes. I think Eden Haven is very talented, a youngster. He might not be a generational defender, but I think he will grow into a very key defender for Manchester United in the future. And I am excited to see him perform. So I don't know what are your thoughts, guys, about Eden Haven, but let me know in the chat because I think he performed really well. Despite getting a yellow card, I think his performances was very good. I think he stopped them well. He showed composure. I mean, I would like to see him get some minutes in the Mainoo, but I don't know if they will start him. I think they will be starting De Ligt from the start of the game. Maybe Harry Maguire. We will see. Of course, that leaves room to see who comes in on the left side. Will it be Lenny Yoro or will it be Mazraoui again? Now, will they be sharing half and half the game or will one play 90 minutes? That is the question. And of course, hopefully, it will be Mazraoui. I think Mazraoui has shown very, very good solidity at the back in the right centre-back position every time he's played, and I expect him to remain in that position. I don't like how he looks when he plays in the right wing-back. Of course, he's a talented guy, but it's not the best performances, in my honest opinion, guys. It's one of those things where I feel like we can do better and maybe keep players in their best performing positions, not try to experiment too much. I really, really like what Ahmad is doing in the right wing back position. He's starting to utilize his vision really well. He's also getting in and amongst with the early balls, the crosses, showing that he's trying to find his teammates to create something for Manchester United. He's not just running, cutting in and trying to shoot anymore. Of course, there will be moments where Ahmad might hold on to the ball a little bit longer than he should now, but the mere fact that his game is already maturing, where he's creating chances, cutting back the ball, crossing the ball, and still finding room for himself to make those dribble and chances to shoot, it's more impactful than what he was doing last season, guys. And I implore you, for all of those who might be upset with him, give him some more time. I think when we try to play him in the left hand, it throws off his game and his rhythm. And of course, the chemistry that he has formed with Bryan Mbeumo over the first 10 games. So I would like to see his performance on the right wing back again. So I expect that, and I expect him to be one of our key performers in the game. You know, Diogo Dalot, for me, he got a knock and had to come off. But I think his performance was far to say, and not even hard to say, one of the best performances this season that we've seen from Diogo Dalot. He was secure at the back and very good going forward. The goal was well taken as well. And of course, while it was not the winner, who's to say if we had actually scored the other chances we had, it would not have counted towards the 3 points we would have received, but still earning us a point. You know, I think that Diogo Dalot, if he can perform like that in every single game, I think definitely we will be in for a treat with this player. And let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes, guys, because of course, we know his form is really up and down in a lot of moments, but that's Diogo Dalot, you know what I mean? We certainly would like to improve in that position. I think that's why we're looking at Mainoo in January. And of course, he will certainly improve that left wing back attacking position. In my honest opinion, he comes into that role and he takes it to another level. And then we'll have to look at the manager if we are not winning games. But hopefully that's one of the first signings and an early signing in January. And I hope to see it. It will get more interesting, guys. Of course, you know, in the midfield, Casemiro and Bruno. Bruno might not be the best performer. He's not a midfielder. I don't know why it's not Kobe or maybe Mason Mount. I think Bruno needs to go back into his 10 role and fight with Cunha and Mbeumo for spots up top. I think Kobe needs to be getting into this team. He showed some very good performances when called upon for some little minutes, and I think he deserves to get more game time. This is not just about him not being ready, but of course, he can never be ready if he doesn't play games. Players learn with time. So it's one of those things, guys. You know, in my honest opinion, looking forward to the attack. I'm hoping to see Joshua Zirkzee lead the line again. I think the performances are growing. I think he's a player who, while he might not be a prolific goal scorer, I think he certainly gets better with the more games under his belt. And with a run of games, we have seen him improve. And I think he will continue to improve. And who knows, maybe scores more goals than he scored last season, and maybe in more consistent concession. Maybe he scores again against Wolves, and maybe that, you know, opens up the floodgates for more goals from this 9.5 striker, who I think might be a better left 10 than an actual striker, in my honest opinion. But at the same time, I'm hoping to see a good performance from the lad. And guys, while I say that, it's an interesting starting 11. If you look at that 11, Joshua Zirkzee up top, 2 10s, left Cunha, right Mbeumo, you have left wing back Diogo Dalot, right wing back Amad Diallo, Bruno and Casemiro in the pivot, and of course the trio at the back for me would have to be Luke Shaw and De Ligt as well as Mazraoui. I think changes can be made. Obviously, we would have Lisandro Martinez coming in to get some minutes at some point in that second half. and maybe, you know, some more minutes for Eden Haven. I think we could make that change depending on how the performance is, especially if we are leading by a goal or two. These can be substitutions that can be made because I think these guys need minutes under their legs to really show their performances. I think that will be a very interesting starting 11. I don't know about you guys, but let me know in the comments. What are your thoughts on that starting lineup? Because it will get very interesting to see what happens. And of course, there's no question who's going to be in goal. It's obviously going to be Senna Lemons because, again, Manchester United, new number one, young Scarlet, and he's been performing very, very well since coming in. And I would say to you guys, more to come, and let's see some more. Of course, he's conceded some goals, but there were some really good chances taken against him. He's not conceded as much as a lot of goalkeepers this season, despite Man United not winning as many games as we should have. And I think it's just the beginning, guys. I think it's just the beginning for him. And it will get more interesting to see what happens and see how we go forward, guys, because Man United is changing. And of course, we are changing with the times. I mean, who would have guessed Man United playing a back three in these times, guys? It's not something that any one of us would probably have guessed, you know, outright. But it's here. And of course, we hope for better performances. You know what I mean? It's not the best thing. And of course, a lot of us say that they are professionals, but let's always remember that, you know, even though they are professionals, they, you know, professionals that maybe at not a back three, but they're working on it. And it's hard to make these excuses for players who should be delivering because of their quality. And you know what I mean? They're supposed to be some of the best in the world. The manager also has to, I think, maybe tweak to benefit the players somewhat, because at the end of the day, the players can only do their best at what they are good at. And of course, not all players are malleable or interchangeable as you might want them to be. So, yeah, I have to say it like that. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean, guys? I'm trying to build this lineup and I can't find Amad Diallo, which is crazy. That's crazy. I have so many Diallos. Where's Ahmad? Bomba. Where's Ahmad? Oh, found him finally. So guys, this is going to be my starting lineup. You know what I mean? I don't know about you guys, but yeah, this is going to be my starting lineup. Hope you guys are not too upset with it. This is, I mean, of course, what I think is the best starting lineup for that game. Of course, this is normally our starting lineup anyway, but without without the availability of Benjamin Sesko, I think it's going to get interesting to see what happens, you know, because of course he's shown that, you know, his presence in our team, it has been very critical, but hopefully Xerxes can, you know, get some goals. Hopefully Xerxes can get himself on the score sheet, you know, get some goals and assists or something like guys. I think it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. Very interesting. So let me guys show you my starting lineup. Shout out to Irish Petier in the building, my brother. You know, I'm just going to show you guys my starting lineup that I think is going to be in what the manager starts. I mean, I would like to see another starting lineup maybe, but of course, Ruben Amorim has his way, and I'm just thinking based on what he might do for his starting lineup. And of course, well, that's how it goes. You know what I mean? So let me just change the view really quickly so you guys could see it. So this is my starting lineup for the Manchester United game at Wolves away. I'm going with Lemens in goal, Mazraoui at the right centre-back position, De Ligt in the centre-back position, Luke Shaw starts for me, Ahmad, Casemiro, Bruno, and Diego Dallo. Again, it's the midfield starts that I would be starting. Brian Mbeumo, Matthias Cunha, and of course, Joshua Zirkzee. I was tempted to put Mason Mount in as the starter ahead of Cunha. But again, Cunha is going to back to his old team. So I think he would be one of those players the manager most likely would be wanting to start the game and try to see if he can help take them apart from the start. So it's going to get interesting there. Let's see how the performances go. Let me know in the comments, guys, what your thoughts are, what you think about this starting lineup. Shout out to you in the building, each and every one of you who took the time to watch and smash the likes. Don't forget the likes really help the channel grow, and I am forever thankful for all of you who took the time to smash that like button, because it definitely helps promote the channel and let YouTube know that you guys watch me and you interested in what I'm streaming, and that definitely helps very, very much. So guys, thank you again. And thank you so much for taking the time to come and spend with me doing this this match preview, guys. Of course, you know, Manchester United looking for 3 points. Can we win against Wolves away at the Mainoo tomorrow night? Stay tuned. The watch along will be here as well. Join me live. And of course, see you all there. Have a great night, everybody. And you know what? Don't forget to like the thing.
Baby.